In this video, we'll be discussing the hyper mechanic, how it works, how it functions, and some new information on battle mechanics as well. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to my space, whether it's morning, afternoon, night. Glad you could join me today. We're going to be talking about something special. I got a sneak peek. Well, everybody did technically. If you've were a part of it, or if you saw the last Illuvial with the Illuvium Insider on the main Illuvium YouTube channel. Went live a little over 5 hours ago, according to my recording just now. And we got some information regarding the hyper mechanic within the game. So Aaron goes into detail describing this hyper mechanic, and I may throw up some visuals on the screen so you can kind of look at the battle gameplay of Illuvium and leaked footage that we've already received thus far. But I'm probably just gonna be talking this one. I just want to give some brief input, brief data. So basically what he's saying is this hyper mechanic is going to be based off an aura he describes in the video. I'll link the actual Illuvium Insider in my description below. You can go check it out for yourself. I encourage you. It's an hour and 30 minutes long, but there is some Q&A and stuff at the end. But there's some great information in there. Grant even reveals some extra gameplay footage that we weren't planning on getting to experience, but maybe I'll record some of that and throw it up on the screen as well while I'm talking about this. So I'm really excited about this hyper mechanic. You guys know that I'm a strategist to the core, and so like this is exciting in the fact that in other auto battlers and other games, you have your abilities, and in Illuvium we'll have our Omega ability. But now he's describing this hyper mechanic which activates according to your aura of each of your illuvials. So he says if you've got a fire illuvial and it's got a fire aura around it by so many hexagonal spaces on the battlefield, and it comes in contact with other illuvials, if those illuvials are of the nature type or another type that are weak against your fire type, then your illuvial will build up its meter that effectively engages its hyper mode faster. And if it encounters the opposite, if it encounters an illuvial that is strong against the type that you're playing as, then it basically prevents your meter. It slows your meter down from becoming hyper. So there's definitely a huge advantage of making sure you're revealing the deck of your opponent, countering them. The ACG group and myself have already made videos on this. Like, you can go check out our training on it. This is going to be very important. Like, you guys, I'm telling you exactly the steps that you need to win in this game. Just stay tuned for more information on that. But this is exciting because the hyper mechanic that he's describing is basically an added boost of power for each of the illuvials. And Aaron specifically talks about the illuvials that have a shield bonus will gain an even greater shield. They'll prevent even more damage whenever they go hyper. If they're purely offensive, they will dish out like extra damage. Like once they go hyper, it's as if they gain, you know, X amount of power, like 2x, 3x times the power. And he talks about if you are able to make one of your illuvials or place one of your illuvials strategically so it goes hyper early in the battle, then he can basically walk across the battlefield and just annihilate everything in his path, right? So the hyper mechanic is going to be a huge game changer for our auto battler here in the Illuvium strategy game. Something else that we've all been kind of speculating on is the fact that the rogues in Illuvium and in the auto battler will essentially be exactly like the assassins in TFT. So those of us that are familiar with teamfight tactics, there will be characters, and it's been confirmed now by Aaron in this AMA, in this interview, that it's the rogue class that will leap across the battlefield into your opponent's backline, so that is useful information to know. That's something that TFT was. I'm not sure they modeled that after anything else, but that is a mechanic that was definitely useful in taking out the carries of the other team, the damage dealers, snipers, what have you. So that's very interesting there. But again, talking about the hyper, we have classes like the Invoker, which make the shield for your team, will protect your team, allow your team to live longer. Their bonus on their abilities increase. So he does mention that it's not just the Omega ability that does increase when your Illuvial goes hyper. It's basically an entire increase across the board. So it's going to be your Omega ability that gains an increase. Your active auto attack, I believe, will do more damage, and just the effect of your Omega and your abilities get a boost beyond its normal capabilities. And there will be a hyper active state that your illuvials ascend to. So he mentions that visually you will know that your illuvial has gone hyper. This is going to be pretty cool, because I can just imagine a axolotl like rampaging across the battlefield and just going berserk, right? So we know that the Axodon has a shield, a water shield that he'll throw up. So I imagine that they will create a new visual effect for those abilities whenever they are hyperactive, instead of just a small little waterfall shield. It will be like a monsoon, just rises up from the battlefield in front of your Axodon character, and it's going to prevent a ton of damage, apparently. So like that's going to be sick. That's depending on which character you want to play as. The other character he mentions is Lura, and the evolutions of Lura. I'll throw up a visual of that one if those of you that are watching the video aren't familiar with that illuvial as well. But Lura, he talks about, will actually burrow under the ground and sprouts up some sort of plant that taunts the enemies around it. So I'm guessing it lures them in to the plant itself, is what it sounds like. And then it explodes or sprouts, probably, and releases a pollen or poison gas, whatever it does, and does an AoE, which sounds badass. And that will also have its own hyper. So I imagine he'll have an even greater plant. The plant will look, cooler. It'll have a bigger effect. That sounds awesome. And I can't even imagine what Ramfire's ability is going to do. We've already seen the trailers. We've already seen the fire raining down from the skies. Like, if you can make your Ramfire go hyper and just watch like an explosion of molten lava or something just rain down from the heavens, that is going to look pretty sick. I can't wait. I can't wait to put my hands on it. Like this is some exciting news, and this is the first time that they've ever actually went into depth of the hyper mechanic. So I'm gonna leave you with this one little bit here. So the video that they released all this information in, if you haven't gone to check it out, it's titled The Last Illuvial. And so they're actually giving everybody a chance to research and come up with their own concept for the actual last illuvial in the game. So just like everybody kind of expected, they probably have created 150 illuvials. They've already fleshed them out. But they're wanting to give this opportunity to a special community member to come up with the concept for the last illuvial. You can find more details in the video, and you could possibly be the one that gives them the idea for the last concept of the final illuvial that's going to be released at launch of the game. That is so exciting. And I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to follow me, like, and subscribe down below, and we'll check you out in the next one. Thank you.
Welcome to my own space. 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 Welcome to my own space.